Hey guys, welcome to my ultimate build guide tutorial. This tutorial will include everything you need to know about building spawns or mega structures in Minecraft. And what's a better way to teach you guys than having you watch one of the best builders in Minecraft build you a free factions PvP spawn, which will be available for download in the description below at the end of the video. Alright, now the footage I'm going to be playing is pre-recorded and it took about 3 to 4 hours to complete the spawn, but I will be speeding it up and talking to you guys throughout the whole thing, explaining all the details, commands, little tips and tricks that we use to build the spawn. And basically by the end of it, you should be an expert at building and be able to build basically whatever you can dream of. Because Minecraft is a great tool, and bam, let's get straight into it here. So the first step that you'll want to do before you build anything at all is think of an idea and basically a concept of what you want. What do you want to build? Today, we're going to be building a factions PvP spawn, which is one of the most basic of things to build. It's fairly generic, and we're just going to pick a non-very special one. We're just doing a plain old spawn so you guys can use it and spruce it up and do whatever you want with it. And once you've worked out what you want to build, you need to work out what resources you need for that to come true. So if you're doing like a massive project, like maybe a whole Pixelmon region, which is what I've done in the past with the Hoenn and Kanto regions, you'll need a server to host it on, and you will need multiple builders to help out. Because it's just not reasonable to have one person working for 4 years to complete a project, and it makes it a lot easier if you get it hosted. So I would suggest going to HadeSolutions.com, which is of course my hosting company. We give you some great deals and you just buy it, it'll set up your server, you click start, it'll generate a world, you're good to go. And once you've done that, step 2 is to learn what tools are available to you. This is a very serious one because a lot of people attempt to do big builds without knowing what tools are out there. And if you don't know what tools are out there, you're basically just handicapping yourself and making it harder for yourself. So right here, if we're doing any type of spawn over, say, 20 by 20 blocks, I would suggest getting some plugins. And to get plugins, you need to basically host your server up using Bucket, Spigot. There's a whole bunch of different programs or software out there to host your server, so you can actually use plugins. And the plugins you will need to build any type of spawn or any type of build whatsoever is World Edit. That is what I would say is non-optional. That is required. You need World Edit. It is by far the best world editing tool and is extremely useful, and it's also the tool we'll be using for 90% of this tutorial. So go ahead and get your server set up and then get your tools, which is the first one being World Edit. That's how you spell it, but I'll chuck some annotations and text up on screen to help guide you to get these things. After you've got World Edit and your server running, I would suggest a couple of optional tools. If you feel like looking into it, if you want to get adventurous and get a bit more advanced, you can check out Voxel Sniper, which is also a great world editing tool. The builders that I know tend to use it more for terrain and landscape and things like that, because it's not really for editing buildings, but you know what I mean. If you just Google it up, click on the annotation I put on screen, see if you'll like it or not. If you think you will like it, go ahead and chuck it on your server and use Voxel Sniper as well. The next one I would suggest is extremely good for big projects, like, as I said before, the Hoenn region, which was recently built for my Pixelmon server, which is in the description if you want to check that out. That is an amazing map. It actually, I reckon it should be in a world record thing or something. 9,000 by 5,000 blocks, which is like millions and millions of blocks placed across the world to get it exactly like the Hoenn region in the Pixelmon game. And obviously we couldn't do that by hand. We couldn't do it using World Edit because it would take absolutely like months, if not years. So what we decided to use is a program called World Painter. It is extremely good for creating massive worlds. It's not good for buildings. It is only good for landscape, guys. So there you go. Go ahead and grab World Painter if you're doing a massive world from scratch. Go ahead and grab MC Edit if you want to dive deeper into the world editing thing. That's another good program. Both optional though. World Painter, MC Edit optional, Voxel Sniper optional, World Edit not. Make sure to grab that. Check them all out. They'll all be in the description, and I'm probably popping them on screen right now. So click on those plugins, check the descriptions, download the ones you want, and bam, let's get started on the next step. So after you have your server, you have an idea of what you want to build, you have all the plugins you need, then you want to find a location. Now, luckily enough, we've already found a location for this faction spawn, and we're going to demolish this little village here. All the poor villagers are going to have to get out of here, because this is where we want to build the spawn. It is overall a very nice spot. What you want to look for is somewhere flat, so you don't have to do that much terrain editing. You want to look for somewhere with biomes next to it that you like. And I personally don't like ocean biomes for PvP, so that's why there's no oceans around here. I personally like deserts, so that's why there's a desert over there, because they're very flat and easy to see people. And a couple little rivers and stuff always makes it look good, so this is our location. And now I'm going to be cutting over to the pre-recorded footage, and I'll start explaining the build, and we'll get the builder in here, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. Alright guys, here we are with the amazing Hell Crescent, who's going to be building us the PvP faction spawn today. And what he's doing here to start off is using the stack command to make a platform for him to start building the spawn on. And by using the stack command, he was able to get the exact dimensions he wanted, as well as divide the spawn up into quarters and even eighths, as you can see that he's doing right now with the orange wool. And if you want to learn how to use this stack command, I'll probably chuck a little information up on screen, but basically how it works is you just place a block in the corner, you copy that block, and then if you type //stack 100, what that'll do is it'll stack that block 100 times in whatever direction you're facing. So what he did is he looked vertically, and then he typed /stack 100, and then he looked horizontally, and then he typed /stack 100, and then he looked diagonally and typed /stack 100. And by doing that, he got himself a 101 by 101 perfect square to start building on, which is absolutely an amazing size for this particular project. And then, as you can see, what he's working on now is starting to build some of the structures to get an idea of what we want this spawn to look like. And the reason why he's using wool is because if you use actual blocks, you might not be able to see or vision what you actually want the spawn to look like. So using the wool just helps you separate the different sections and get an idea for what you want. And it also allows you to choose the theme later on. So you're not investing yourself into one type of block. By the time you get to the end, you might be like, maybe I should change it to a different theme, I don't know. But anyway, there you go, that's the reason behind that. Of course, during this whole video, I'll be putting all the world edit commands I can up on screen for you guys to learn and follow along, and also any information. If I think it's relevant, I'll link you to the world edit, tutorials and stuff like that, so make sure to click on them for more information. Alright, so what's he done so far? He has started building the main gate, as you can see there on the left with the green wool. He's also built one of the walls and a tower. Now, the command to build the tower was actually the cylinder command, which is a world edit command. And what he did was he put a H in front of the cylinder command, which makes the cylinder hollow. As you can see, just at the top of that red cylinder, it's hollow. And that's extremely useful for making towers. So all he has to do is go stand in the corner of the spawn, type //hcyl, so CYL, and then the block he wanted, so wall, then the radius, which is the size of the circle, and then the height. Extremely simple, and an extremely easy way to make towers on your spawn. So that's a really nice one to keep track of and remember. So H cylinder for that, and stack. Once you've learned those two, you're basically caught up to what he's doing now. At the moment, he's just filling in, designing a little bit of extra stuff, getting stuff worked out, and starting to really make a vision of how he wants this spawn to look like. Because you have to remember, he decided to divide the spawn up into eighths, and by doing that, what he did was make it extremely easy for himself, it makes the time required to complete the build a lot quicker because he only has to build 1/8 instead of like the whole spawn. So if he builds 1/8, he can copy paste it around and have a completed spawn extremely easily. But of course he does lack some details when he does that. As you'll see at the end of the build, because we decided to only build 1/8 and copy it around, he did lack a few extra features. If he would have done just 1/2 of the spawn and then copy pasted it onto the other half, he would have been able to add more details and it wouldn't have looked as symmetrical looking as what you'll probably see a bit later on. And another little tip there that you might see he did is he used the stack command to make a line across the diagonal side of the spawn, so he knew where he had to build to, because there's no point building anything outside of that 1/8 if you're planning to copy paste it around to the other 7/8. Well, he shouldn't have done it in 8ths because that's an extremely awkward word to say, but anyway. So there we go, he's building only 1/8 of the spawn. As you can see, he's decided to build a second layer, and by building a second layer, it does add a whole new element to the spawn. A lot of people only build spawns that are 1 tower high, but by adding the second tower and the second wall, it definitely adds a lot more depth to the build and makes it look 100 times better overall. So building that second tower, I would definitely suggest that, or the second layer, if you will, if you were building another project. But yeah, that definitely helps out. Now we're just going to watch him finish up this side of the build by finishing up his wool idea of how he wants this to look. And I believe he'll be copying that wool around. Yep, there we go. So see how he only built 1/4 of it, and then he's just copying it, rotating it, using the world edit rotate command, and then pasting it again. So very simple little technique there. The rotate and flip commands I'll cover more later in the video when he's actually copying this little section around to the rest of the spawn, because that'll be when it's more relevant. And here we go, now we're on to the detailing part. As you can see, he turned the wall into stone brick, which is one of the many themes and block types that I would suggest building spawns with. Using the stone theme is what I like to call it, is extremely popular and is the most used theme, I would say, out of all the different themes to build structures or spawns out of. Stone would be the most popular, because if you use stone, there's just so many blocks that can complement and go with it without it looking odd. Whether if you used a sand theme, then you wouldn't have as many blocks that go with it. If you decide to use sandstone and all those different sandy type blocks, then you can't really mix in too many bright colors or things like that because they just look odd. But with a stone base, you can add things like nether bricks, stone slabs, wood, and it all seems to look alright, as you can see by this build that's happening right in front of your eyes right now. So yeah, that's one of the themes, stone. But yeah, as I said before, sand is alright, lacking a few features. Wooden themes, very popular, they can look alright as well. And colourful themes, like if you want to go with wool, stained glass, fancy looking blocks, stained clay, that can also look good, but it tends to only really suit the build if it's like a minigame theme server, or maybe a minigames hub or something along those lines. That's when I'd use wool and stained clay and things like that. For most builds, as I said, I'd suggest the stone brick theme. As you can see, it's looking very well here as we watch Hell Crescent build this spawn at extreme speed. What is he currently doing now? He built basically one of them, and if you didn't see, he just copy pasted it. He didn't build each 3 of those separately. He just built one, copy pasted it, and that is the trick to becoming a good builder, is copy pasting to save time. Because if something looks the same, like these 3 little archways here, why would you build 3 separately when you can just build one and copy paste it? As you can probably see right now, up the top of that middle arc, he's put some nether brick and some stone walls, but I promise you he will not be building that over and over again. He's just going to copy it. Yep, you can see him doing it right now. He's just copy pasting the one he did over to the right, and then bam, he pasted it to the left as well. Bam, look at that, it's all done. He only built one, but just building that one, he was able to paste that whole wall down and make it look amazing. So there's a little tip for you guys. Now, What he's doing is he is putting some depth into his builds. Instead of having just straight lines, try and mix it up a bit and chuck some extra blocks in there, mix the colors up a bit, chuck some extra diagonal lines by using stairs, which also helps add some more texture and depth to the build, which as you can see looks amazing as he's doing right now. And also things like even building out further than you had planned. If the wall's looking too plain, don't feel bad about it, or don't get too down. All you have to do is start building out or dig in a bit more to add some more depth. The more layers, the better. If you can get like 5 layers back, 5 layers forward, that'll look like an extremely in-depth wall. And you can get too in-depth, but keep in mind it's a couple layers thick, a couple different block types, a couple different colors, and you'll be fine. Should be fairly easy. I'm not the best builder there is in the world going around, but I have watched a lot of builders like Hell Crescent right here building, and he definitely is something to learn from. Make sure to pay attention to the video here. It's definitely worth it. I'm probably learning something right now just by watching him. What has he got down there? He's decided to try and build that off. He's going inside. He's placing some more blocks. He's trying to keep it all the building the same. So at the moment you can't really tell because this is all the same theme. But as we move up to the top section of the build, you'll see that he's of course sticking to the same theme. You don't want to change themes halfway through a build. Fairly obvious, but some of you might not have known, so I thought that I'd chuck that in there. And while he's doing some basic building in the background, I think I'll chuck in a few extra commands that you guys might want to know about. You can use //set 36, which is a world edit command, and you type //set whatever block, and it sets at that block, but 36 actually makes invisible blocks. And invisible blocks are extremely useful for holding things back, like water or lava, or just to make some extra fancy patterns as people walk past. Invisible blocks, extremely useful, or they can also be used to stop enchanting tables from taking the power from the books around them. So if you want an enchanting table to only be level 10, but you want to surround it with books, you can just chuck some invisible blocks there by going //set 36. Extremely useful command, I thought I'd chuck in there. And as you can see, he is continuing the same theme from down below up the top, and he's just doing layer after layer of detailing. See there how he built it out 2 layers, and then he went back and set the backdrop as nether brick. And then he went ahead, as I'm speaking, he's adding more layers. As you can see, those stone slabs there, that add another layer. And the more layers you have, the better. Extremely useful. And yeah, glad hopefully you understood all that stuff, and hopefully you're not too confused. But don't forget guys, you can just rewatch this video as many times as you want. And this spawn will be available for download in the description below. I have a ton of my personal servers, which Hell Crescent has been doing basically every spawn, every hub, everything I've ever wanted for my servers. Hell Crescent's probably been involved in it. He's built a ton of stuff for my servers. If you want to check out all his builds, make sure to go to hub.hadescraft.com. The IP will be in the description. And also, the Hoenn region that I was talking about earlier is definitely something to check out. If you're an enthusiast of building, the Hoenn region, as I said, 9,000 by 5,000 blocks is nothing to laugh at. That was a major project and it's absolutely amazing. It's running on my Pixelmon server now, so go check that out as well. And we're just going to sit here and talk for a bit, I guess, while we're watching him build. He's doing a really good job here. This top tower actually looks more detailed than the bottom one, if I do say so myself. I really like the wooden aspect to it. How he decided to add the wood going through the nether brick and cutting it off. If that top of the tower would have just been all nether brick, that would have looked too plain. Even if he would have had some details like all the stairs, like what he has, it wouldn't have been enough, and he needed to break the colours up, which is exactly what he did there. And another little thing I noticed he's doing is he's using stone slabs to top off the end of logs. See how he's got the logs going down the top and the bottom of the tower, and he just tops them off with stone slabs. Because if you place a block on top of that, it'll look a bit odd. The stone slabs look very nice, and I see a lot of builders using that technique. So there's something nice to pick up if you're building your own spawn. And what else have we got here? Lots of stuff going on, but I'm just trying to fill you in with as many of the commands and stuff he may be using. A lot of the world edit commands you will have to learn yourself, guys, by looking it up. Just going onto the wiki, which I will have in the description and probably on screen a few times. But the basic ones are very easy to use. There's just / undo. If you stuff anything up with World Edit, you just type the / undo command and it gets rid of it for you. So don't worry if you stuff up the commands, you just undo them. And then you got / copy, you got / paste, you got / rotate, / flip, you got / stack. You have a ton of amazing commands that we're all using today in this video, and I'll try and tell you when I see him using them. Like before, how I said when he was using the stack command, I told you about that. I told you about the H cylinder command, which he used to make the tower, and I told you about the copy command that he was using to make those little arches at the front, how he built one and then he copied it to the other two. So that's pretty much all he's used so far. I'll try and make sure I don't miss any commands that he uses here. Let's see what else he's got going on. I've got some notes on the side here I have a quick look at. Anything I'm missing here? No, not really. He's just building along. Let's keep watching him build, guys. He's actually doing a very good job with this spawn, so if you want to use it for your faction spawn, make sure to do that. But, as I said, as I was talking about at the start, how he's only building a quarter, then copy-pasting it around. If you were building your own spawn, I would suggest to build it in halves. Just build half of it, or a quarter of it, and copy it around. Don't build it in eighths. The reason why we did eighths in this tutorial was because it's a lot easier to showcase and teach you guys how it works by doing eighths, and it's also quicker to build. So there's the reasons for us doing it, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend you do it. Alright, so now we're on to a footpath. Here's some more stuff to talk about, because when you're doing footpaths, there's a few things you have to keep an eye out on. The first thing is you need to make sure it's easy to walk across. You can't be using too much stairs or slabs going to normal blocks, because that'll make a really jumpy and jittery path, which is extremely hard to walk across and no one likes that. So please keep that in mind, guys. Try and keep it as flat as possible. You only want to raise the ground up when you want someone to be doing something different, basically. When you want them to be purposely raised up to like jump off into the PvP zone or something. So try and keep it flat, and don't forget lighting. That's something I forgot a bit earlier. We haven't gone to the inside yet, but lighting is extremely important. As you can see, he decided to put some glowstone beneath glass there. And basically what that does is the light shines up through the glass, and it is extremely useful. So don't forget that. Lighting everywhere where it can get dark, guys. Glowstone and redstone lamps. Extremely good. Alright, now he's doing something important here, which I should talk about. What he did was he put 1 point with the wand at the bottom of that orange line. The orange line going directly down to the bottom of the screen. He selected one spot there, and then he's going along hitting all of the different points and deleting it. He's going / set 0 to delete all the stone and all the stuff above it as well. By doing that, what he's doing is he's cutting it into exactly 1/8. He's basically preparing the spawn to be copied. So what you want to do is you want to delete everything outside of that 1/8, because you don't want extra little bits being copied around and interfering with your spawn. So yeah, he's basically just deleting all the extra bits that he built because he doesn't need them anymore because he's about to copy them. And another command I forgot to mention, as he would have selected that region, he could use / expand vert, which expands it from the bottom of the ground to the very top, but he didn't want to do that. The command he used was probably / expand up 100. So he selected the bottom of the screen, the bottom of the orange line, and then he started selecting all the different blocks going inwards, making squares, and he expanded 100 up, and he deleted the spawn. And now what he's doing is the rotate command. So he copied that 1/8, he rotated it, pasted it, rotated again, pasted it, rotated again, pasted it, and then he copied it again, and did flip, pasted it, flip, pasted it, flip, pasted it. It might have been the other way around. He might have been using the flip command first, and then he might have been using the rotate command. But basically, by using the flip and rotate command, you can complete a spawn just like that. He built the whole outside of the spawn extremely easily. As you saw, it basically went from nothing to being a fully completed spawn in absolute seconds. So there you go. Now we are on the inside of the build. He's going extremely quick here, probably because I sped it up by like 1,000 times. but the same rules apply as outside. You got to mark out where you want the walls to go first. As you can see, he did that with the red, blue and orange wool, and then he went ahead and built the walls plainly, and now he's going over and doing the details to make it look better and blend it in with the walls and merge it in with the other things. And once you've done that, you've got a really good walkway. And what he's going to do here is actually build one... Is he building one quarter? I think he's building another quarter, and he's planning to copy that around, just like he did with the outside. Alright, what else have we got here? Any other tips for you guys? Definitely look into those commands, guys. As I said, he was using the flip and rotate commands. You know, / rotate 90. That rotates the spawn 90 degrees. And you can do rotate 180 if you want to just flip it, basically. Or you can do flip, which is another way of doing it. So rotate and flip commands, look it up, Google it, get it down pat, because that's how you build spawns extremely quickly, extremely useful. So make sure to learn that, guys. And don't forget the / expand, or up and down. So if you want to select a region like really high up in the sky, you just select it at ground level and then go expand 100 up, or expand up 100, whatever the command is. Makes it extremely easy to select large regions and delete them like he was. Because when he was deleting it to get the 1/4, that's what he did. Fairly easy, fairly simple. Here we go, we've got him building the very center. And now he's moving on to the first room. Now all the rooms are going to look the same in this build, obviously, because... sorry, running out of my voice, losing my voice for some reason. All the rooms are going to look the same because we're copy-pasting it. But as I said, if you were to build only half the spawn, and then flip it or rotate it 180 and paste it, then you would have something different. It wouldn't be the same. You could have different rooms in each corner. Well, not in each corner. You could have a total of like 2 different rooms. But if you only do it this way, then you can only have no different rooms, basically. All the rooms will be the same. So that's something to keep in mind. And we got him throwing a night vision potion on me here, because it went nighttime. And we got him doing some more detailing. As you can see, there is a fair amount of glowstone in here, because he's got to light it up. But I think most of that lighting was actually for the outside, to have light shining through as a little effect. And there we go. We can see the glowstone now on the inside, behind those bars. That was an extremely key point there that you want to keep track of. Nice checkered pattern as the floor. It's a very basic one, but as you can see, it looks fairly good. Just going birchwood, darkwood, birchwood, darkwood. Very easy there. He's building the walkways in the rooms now. Adding some glass there to get the light through. Now, he actually likes to use glowstone a lot, but I personally prefer the redstone lamps. And then you just chuck a redstone block on top of them, and it's extremely effective for lighting. I'm just going to grab a quick drink here while we finish up watching him build. Good old mango juice, never let you down. Alright, here we go. We just, on the last stage of the build now, pretty much. There's 1/8. He is flipping it around and pasting it, just like he did with the top part. Bam, he's pasting it again. Bam, he's pasting it again. Yep, there it is. Then he's doing the rotate, or he's mixing it up. You got to use flip and rotate if you're doing 8s. As you can see, he's completed it all now. And I'm going to do a little fly. There you go. There is the complete spawn, guys. It is fairly plain. That's only because it's symmetrical. But that's exactly what you wanted to have. And it's exactly how to build a spawn extremely quick. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. We're wrapping it up now. I'm going to quickly talk about world edit brushes. And basically world edit brushes you can use to smooth surfaces like he's doing there. You can use them to create spheres or cylinders like we did with the tower, or if you wanted to fill in holes in the ground. And you can also use /mask, which is what he was doing just before to get rid of the grass. So if you type /mask and then type the ID for grass, then if you go around with your brush, it'll actually just delete all the grass. It won't affect any other block except grass. And you can also use this mask to get rid of trees, which is extremely useful. you just type /mask and then the ID for trees, which I think is 35 for wood, and then you fly around hitting stuff with the mask. It'll delete all the trees. Extremely simple and effective. So make sure to check out World Edit Brushes for more information on that. Of course, as much as information as I can, I'll put up on screen. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Please send this video to your friends, share it on Facebook, subscribe to my channel, and make sure to like the video. We put a lot of effort into this video. We're trying to pack it full of information for you guys to learn to become a good builder and be able to build spawns. It's an amazing gift because Minecraft is such an amazing game, and being a good builder helps you experience the game for what it really was meant to be. And yeah, don't forget guys, I hope you enjoyed it. What he's doing right now is just building some finishing touches for the PvP zone here. We're just flattening it out so it looks a bit better, getting rid of the trees and grass. He's putting that there to stop people from ender pearling. It's not really necessary. If you're good with plugins, you can block ender pearls with a world guard flag. And he's going to be chucking some water down there on top of the glowstone, so then when people drop out, they don't take fall damage. Little things like that, but you can work all that stuff out for yourselves. Hopefully with the information included in this video, you are now experts at building. Alright, I'm going to see you guys later. We're going to wrap it up here by watching him finish off the spawn. Please, chuck the video a like, smack this like button as hard as you ever had. This video was the best video ever. Hades out. See you later.